All right. So welcome to CoronaCon. For those of you who have been, watching this whole entire conference, it has been absolutely crazy. I'm here kind of in my home office, so you see some notes in the back. But my name is Mike Nelson. Such a privilege and an honor to be here. Shout out to my guy, Dave Anderson, AKA the Business Bully. Thank you for all of the mentorship. Thank you for all the gems, the insight, and the wisdom. And so tonight, what I wanted to go on, and I wanted to talk about very briefly, and look, we got some, people tomorrow. We've had people in the past, talk about financials, talk about branding, talk about marketing. I saw somebody talk about photography. All this stuff is great. It is, I promise you, all of this stuff is great. But I want to talk tonight just a little bit, maybe take a slight turn from maybe some things that we've been talking about. And I really want to talk about during this whole pandemic, I really want to focus on you as an individual and you as a person, right? And so what I want to do is I want to talk about growth, and I want to talk about, managing your emotions. Because look, let's be honest, I don't care what industry that you're in. I don't care, if you're a 9-to-5 person, you're an entrepreneur, self-employed, investor, like to some degree now, maybe not everybody, like Dave probably, but everybody else, have been affected by this, whether you know somebody that has the coronavirus, or whether your job has cut you back, or whether business is slow. And so I think what it is that we do a lot of times is we say that we still have to go, but we don't give ourselves enough time to be able to process things and be able to think things through. And so here's what I always say, and I'm a big proponent of this. If your emotional health is not right, none of this stuff is going to work, right? So you see people in business, you see people at their 9-to-5, you see people in life every single day, they just going and going and going and going. And while, yes, the coronavirus has been a setback for some of us, I believe, and I'm not grateful that, because people's lives are being affected, people are dying, and God rest the souls of the people who have been lost, and families are being affected. But I'm happy something in a positive way, something like this has happened, because it has made all of us, or should make all of us, do a self-check and say, what specifically do I need to do, right? So now, here's what I'm not saying, because you get this thing where people will say, and I've seen this, y'all, now I don't know if y'all seen this, but I've seen this a lot. There's two thoughts out there during this whole entire thing. Is A, that, during this whole pandemic and COVID-19, that you need to learn a new skill, that you should come out with like a new hustle. Yes, I do agree. And anybody that knows me with respect, I am a capitalist. I believe that you should be capitalizing, not off of this, but I believe that entrepreneurs and people who sell stuff, I still believe that there's still a need for all of us. So I believe that you still should be doing business, but I believe also that you need to be able to take a look at yourself and say, what else do I need to be doing to be able to contribute to the market, to be able to contribute to my family and society, right? So I do believe that A, you should always be learning a new skill. It should not take a pandemic for us to say, oh, I need to learn a new skill. Now, if you have, I'm not judging you, but I'm just saying, we always should be adapting and learning new skills. So I do agree with that, right? Then B, you have the other side of the tape where people have been saying, well, you know what, Mike, it's just that, I just need to focus. I don't need to be focusing on a new skill set. I don't need to be focusing on gaining any new skills, right? Me focusing and getting through this pandemic is what's most important, right? So I just need to focus on that. And God bless you. I'm saying, yes, I agree with those two train of thoughts, that you should be learning a new skill through this pandemic, and you should be focusing on getting through this whole entire thing. But here's my whole entire thing. Sometimes what we think is that two things can't be true. I believe that you can simultaneously do both, right? Now, here's my thing. If you cannot do both for whatever reason, you just saying, yo, I just can't do both, Mike. I can't focus on trying to learn a new skill. I got kids, I got this business. My job has cut me back. I can't focus on a new skill right now. I always say, if it comes down to learning a new skill and choosing money and your mental health, always go for the mental health, because as I always believe that you cannot grind in bad health. And so while we all have been affected, right? I believe there's going to be two groups of people who are going to rise up like a phoenix from this whole entire thing. There's going to be one group who says, man, you know what? I sat back. and I did absolutely nothing. I was so terrified and I was so afraid and I was so scared. And I'm saying that some of those feelings that we have are valid. So there's going to be some of us that said, I sat back, I didn't learn a new skill, I didn't do anything. I just was sitting here and I just was waiting for things to kind of change and shift. And as things changed and shifted, you never shifted, so you might be in the same place. But then there's going to be a group of us out here who says, yo, I put in the time, the energy, I focused on getting through this, but in the meantime, I've become a better person in the midst of all this, going through this whole entire thing, learning a new skill, focusing on my mental health, focusing on my emotions. I became a better person out of this whole entire thing. So I want everybody, all of us, to fall into the second group, that no, we were not just at home, just watching the news all day, just watching them talk about how many people are dying, and God rest the souls of those who have passed away and families who are affected. So please don't take me out of context. I am not trying to be insensitive. But what I am saying is, it's going to be a group of us that says, yes, while this is serious, yes, while my family, even my family has been affected, while people in my family have been affected, while churches have been affected, business has been affected. But at the end of the day, I still took care of business and did what I need to do. So I was able to grow and get through this thing. And so that's kind of where I want to talk about tonight, is growing, right? And so I did this whole, everybody who knows me, I love to speak in acronyms, right? That's my whole entire thing. I love to speak in acronyms, right? So I came up with this acronym for tonight called GROW. And again, we really want to focus on our growth. Look, most people, right, who are going to tune in, they're trying to learn, whether it be some knowledge and some wisdom, whether it's branding, marketing, photography, about finances, all this stuff is great, right? And everybody's trying to learn something. Everybody's trying to be successful. If we were to take a poll right now, I'm sure that there's nobody that's watching this saying, I'm just trying to be a failure. Like, I'm sure that it's not. And so everybody's trying to be successful. But I think what we do is, when it comes to success and dealing with our emotions, I think we ask the right questions, but we just ask them in the wrong order, right? So for us to be successful in this whole COVID-19, for us to be successful, success is never about what do you need to do. Now, I know that may be shocking for some of us to saying, wait, you mean to tell me I don't need to focus on what I need to do? Mind you, I said we asked the right question. We just ask it in the wrong order. So success is never about what do we need to do. Success is always about who do we need to become in the process. And so that's exactly where we want to focus tonight, is who do I need to become to achieve A, B, C, D, E? Who do I need to become to make my dreams or goals happen? Most importantly, what kind of person do I need to become so I can manage my emotions so I'm not just going crazy? And so tonight we really want to focus on growth. So the first thing, the G, is I just want everybody, look, I want you to get up. Seriously, like, I want for you to get up. I'll take you back a time, maybe a year and a half ago. Now, I went to a therapist. She said, you're not depressed, but surely I felt I had symptoms, y'all, right? I had symptoms because things just weren't working out in life. And so my therapist had told me specifically, she said, Mike, what you need to do is, because I told her, I said, look, it's been times, and I'm being 100% transparent. It's been times when it was a year and a half ago. And again, this is as it relates to COVID-19 and the stress that we're feeling. It was a time a year and a half ago where things weren't going right, and I could not get out of bed. You can ask my wife. She would leave from work. I would get up, I would get back in the bed. She would come home, and I didn't move for like 8, 9, 10 hours, because what I felt, the weight of everything was so real. And I believe that there's a lot of people out there, it's a lot of weight on our shoulders. It's a lot of things that we carry. So the first thing that my therapist told me is, Mike Nelson, you have to get up. And when she said that, she says, I want you to just do some small things. I want you to get up. I want you to brush your teeth. I want you to open up the curtains. I want you to go outside, take a 15-minute stroll. You do whatever you need to do to position yourself so that you don't have this feeling anymore of, man, life is just unfair. Life is not right. Because right now, you're taking your emotions. Emotions are not a bad thing. It's what you do with those emotions that can lead to bad things. So she said, I want you to feel all of your emotions, but I still want for you to get up. And slowly but surely, I remember it was so bad. It was like maybe 2-3 days, y'all. I'm talking about the pressure and the weight of life was so heavy. I did not get out the bed. I didn't shower. I didn't brush my teeth. I literally was in the bed. I know that y'all all going to judge me, but I've been to the dentist since, so please don't judge me, right? But I literally could not do anything. And the minute I decided to get up, here's the first thing I did. I got up out the bed, I made the bed, and I opened up the curtains. I'm telling you specifically, for those of us who are affected by this whole entire thing and saying, I'm not sure how things are going to turn around, and you sitting in the crib just waiting for things to turn around, yo, get up. Like, go do something. Just, look, go outside, take a 15-minute stroll, brush your teeth, wash your face, put on pants, right? You got to be able to have your own party even when there is no party. I'm gonna say that again. You got to be able to have your own party even when there is no party. Look, my wife is an introvert, and she got up and maybe a few days ago, and I said, where you going? Right? My wife has the ability to work from home. I said, where you going? You dressed all up. She had, she don't put on too much, but she had some makeup on. She had a nice shirt on, some jeans on. I was like, with social distancing, we can't be going outside. She said, I ain't going outside. I said, so why you dressed up? She said, I'm dressed up for me. I was like, yo, that was a bar. She said, I'm getting dressed up for me because even though I am an introvert, she said, basically what I heard she was saying is that, look, I can't just keep going to work and keep doing the same thing and going through the same habit. Like, let me get up. Let me act as if there's something that I can actually control. And here's what I need you to shift your focus to in the midst of all this, right? Control what you can control. Yes, we cannot control COVID-19. Look, we're going to social distance ourselves to death. We're going to wear our N95 mask, I think it's called. We're going to make sure that we wash our hands and sanitize, right? Those are things that we can control, but the actual disease itself, we just can't control it. So what I don't want you to do is, I don't want the external to affect your internal, right? And so that's what my wife was doing. She was like, look, basically, I'm not going to let how things feel on the outside affect my mood. And so for some of us, like, you stop getting dressed. You just stop getting dressed. You stop getting dressed. You stop putting on your makeup. For some of us, don't be like me. You stop brushing your teeth. You stop doing all of the stuff that you was doing because of the outside circumstances. So never let the outside circumstances define who it is that you are internally. So number one, you're going to have to get up, right? So here's the thing that I love, and I learned this from a few mentors of mine. Look, you got to get some small wins along the way. Getting out the bed today with all the stuff that's going on, especially if your business has been affected, especially if you lost employment, or maybe it's somebody in your family or a family member or friend who has the coronavirus. Maybe it's something like that that's going on. And you got to start creating small wins in this kind of world. Getting up, getting through the day, brushing your teeth, washing your face. Those are small wins that you need to hold on to. If you're in business and you say, I'm trying to restructure, go ahead and send an email to somebody. Email your email list, like, do something. Look, put in 15 minutes of exercise. Do whatever it takes to make sure that when you leave out of COVID-19, that you are better than when you went in before. And I believe that this is a perfect time for some of us to be able to not, I don't want to say switch or change, but I want it to be just maybe a different mindset that you had, because now we're all on alert and realizing that things have to actually change. So number one, do yourself a favor, get up out the bed, do something, like make sure that you feel alive. Don't stop doing the things that you was doing just because the outside has changed. So we're talking about grow, and the first acronym is the G. I want for you to get up. Here's the second thing, right? I want you to readjust. Now, I was going to the gym for like maybe a year and a half, consistently 3-4 days a week for an hour. I was in there hitting the gym. I was pumping iron. I was on the treadmill. I was doing the whole entire nine, right? But as COVID-19 happened, it threw off my schedule a little bit. I just was like, I can't go to the gym. Now, I'm the type of person, y'all, I like to physically be in the environment. Now, my wife, she could work out from home. God bless her soul. But me, I like to be in the environment of working out. So what did I have to do? Is I just had to simply readjust. And for some of us, the challenging part is that we know that we need to adjust, but we're not making those adjustments. We know that we need to change and stop thinking that things are still going to be the same. Man, I read a great book yesterday, and I highly recommend everybody to read it. It's called, I think it's called Who Moved My Cheese? And the book was about making adjustments, right? So are you readjusting to what's going on? So here's what I had to do. I told you a lot of this stuff is going to be mental. Some of this stuff now, please still exercise, still eat right, right? Because you ain't trying to come out this whole thing and you didn't put on, whether it's 6 months or a year from now, whenever this thing live, you ain't trying to put on 20, 30 pounds, right? So still exercise and do all that. But a lot of this is going to be the mental game. A lot of this is going to be, are you going to be mentally stronger when you come up out of it? So it ain't going to be a lot of physical stuff that we're going to have to do. It's going to be up here. It's going to be a mental game. So when I had to make my adjustments, here's what I did. Again, first of all, I despise working out in general. I don't like it. I don't want to put my body under no stress, period. Y'all call me lazy, but I've been doing it 3-4 times consistently for about a year and a half. So when COVID-19 happened, I looked at my watch. I was like, whoo, well, I guess I can't work out now, right? And then my wife was like, yo, you gonna let a year and a half progress stop you? You gonna let this small thing that's happening right now that's temporary, you gonna let this stop all the stuff that you've been doing? Listen, there have been some of us who have been doing great. There have been some of us before this, you was doing great things. You was about to run your business. You was about to run your ads. You was about to get your next gig. You was about to be a great husband, a great father. You was taking care of your kids. You run employee of the month. You was doing every single thing that you possibly can do. And now because something that was temporary, because again, I keep telling everybody this, look, this thing may seem like it's going to be forever, but at some point in time, it's going to change. Like just how you go outside and you look at the whole entire forecast, I don't care how many times it rains. At some point in time, the sun is going to shine. Now, I'm not telling you it's going to be tomorrow. I'm not telling you it's going to be in 2 days. But at some point in time, the sun is going to shine. So at some point in time, this whole thing is going to lift. And so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make these small, subtle adjustments. So here's the first thing that I did, because I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I was hit for like 2 weeks. I worked out like twice in 2 weeks, and it was the home thing, and it was a little lazy, right? I did it like twice. So when I came back, I came to my senses, and my wife had to talk me into, well, she violently told me of the things I was going to do. You need to continue your workout plan. I said, all right, Mike, what do you need to do? Here's the first thing that I did. Again, the first thing I did was, and I didn't do it today, but I've been doing it in the past few days. I put on my workout clothes. Why? Because I wanted that same feeling. So I put on my actual workout clothes. Even though I wasn't going outside to the gym, I could easily be in like the stuff I'm in now and be like, yo, I'm just going to go ahead and work out from here. But what I did was I put on my clothes because I said, I want to mimic the environment of the gym in my readjusting. So I'm trying to create an environment, although I'm not at the gym and that's my desire, but I need to create an internal environment, a picture of myself of this is exactly where it is that I am. So I'm telling you, for some of us, look, take all the stuff that you was doing right and ask yourself, in the midst of all this COVID-19 happening, what can I take from the outside? What can I take the good things I was already doing, not stop them, but how can I now take those things and bring them into my world now so that my world can continue? Listen, you're going to have to make these, you constantly going to have to make these adjustments. Man, I'll take you back to my, well, I don't want to say favorite, but my new favorite movie, right? And anybody knows me, I'm a huge Harriet Tubman fan, right? And basically Harriet Tubman at the same point in time, she had to make an adjustment. She had to readjust the way that she thought, because at one point in time, she was thinking, it was like, well, I'm in slavery. Like, I'm not going to try to do nothing yet because I'm not trying to get caught. But at some point in time, she thought to herself and said, yo, this ain't how life is supposed to be. I need to readjust the way that I think. And if I can think the right things, my actions will follow. So readjusting is basically just telling yourself that A, things are going to get better. B, I'm going to work to improve myself. C, I'm going to come out of this the best version of possible. And with the readjustment, it means that I may have done something right the first time. I may have done something right the second time, but all along the way, I need to be able to make some tweaks. I need to be able to say, okay, how can I fine tune myself so when this whole thing lifts, I am a better person? So again, in what areas of your life will you make adjustments? Because what happens is you got to be careful. I told you, our emotions don't always tell us the truth, right? So again, I had to wake up every day and I had to say, Mike, although your schedule may be off and you have more time than you've ever had before, What adjustments, what readjustments do you need to make? So I already was very, very much regimented in my schedule. But because this whole thing shifted and changed, I said, all right, Mike, even in the adjustments, I have to make readjustments, even with the adjustments that I've already been making in life. So look, stop thinking that this whole entire thing is just going to be a one-time thing. I want for all of us to sit back and say, okay, when I make this adjustment and I make this readjustment, I'm going to be better than I was before. But readjustment is going to be a part of life. This is something that you're going to have to do 24/7, 365. So now is the perfect time before this whole thing lifts to say, how do I need to readjust? How do I need to be able to really, really take control of my emotions, right? So this is what's going to bring us to the third thing, right? So again, we're using the acronym GROW. G was get up, the R was readjust, and the O, and it's twofold, is I want you to be optimistic, right? And I want you to see this as an opportunity. A, I want you to be optimistic because again, at some point in time, this whole entire thing is going to be done. It's going to be over. So I want you to take it back old school. And I want you to be able to close your eyes and I want you to think about those positive things. I want you to see yourself and saying, I will not give in to the negative thoughts that I'm having, even though that my job has probably cut me, I don't know, cut your hours, or for some of us have been laid off, you maybe have to collect unemployment. You don't have to harp on those things. So what I want you to do is harp about the good things. Like what in your life is good? I just don't believe, especially if you're watching this, that means you got Wi-Fi, that means you in the crib. I just like to believe, I'm an optimistic person by nature. I just like to believe that there's something in your life that you can point to that's positive, that outweighs all of the negative stuff. I don't think that we realize how blessed we are to be able to live where it is that we live, because we have a lot of opportunity to be able to do and to create some cool things. So when you're going to be optimistic, I want you to think about, close your eyes, and I want you to get up every day, and you can open up your eyes if you want to. I like to close mine, right? But I want you to have a conversation with yourself. Before you have a conversation with anybody else, and of course, if you're religious, go ahead and pray. But after that, don't have a conversation with nobody else. Don't have a conversation with your kids yet. Don't have a conversation with your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. I don't know, for some of us may have a side piece. However, I'm not here to judge, but I want you to have a conversation with you. Go look at yourself in the mirror and say, while things in my life may not be perfect because of COVID-19, and it has now shifted my life, that does not give me the right, that does not give me the license to now think negative thoughts. That does not give me the license to be down on myself. That does not give me the license to go ahead and be depressed. That does not give me the license to think worse of myself. No, it does not. What it means is that I need to wake up and say, and you repeat your name and say, today is going to be a great day. Look, I'm asking you, look, just to get through the day. I'm not even asking you. It's some of us, we're trying to project what's about to happen in September. And I get it. We got business that we got to do. We got kids that we got to take care of. We got mortgages that we got to pay for, credit card bills, the whole entire nine. But you're trying to project something that you have no control over. You don't know. Listen, you ain't God. You don't know what's going to happen in 6 months. You don't know what's going to happen next week. But what you can control is you can control today. And that's the thing that's going to be able to help us, right? Because I believe during this whole entire thing, there's a lot of us who say, I just want to get control back. I felt like because of this whole COVID-19 thing, that I've lost control. And the easiest way for you to get back control is to control your controllables. Figure out what it is that you can do. I can control my attitude. I can control being negative, and I can control being positive. So again, have a conversation with yourself and say, I'm going to be positive today. I'm going to make up in my mind that life is not perfect, but I'm going to do every single thing in my world to say, I'm going to make things perfect for me. And perfect for you, that just depends on what your definition of that is. But here's what I'm telling you, that you got to be optimistic, right? Because it's easy to be negative during this time. It's so easy. Here's what some of us need to do. Stop watching the news. Like, stop it. Now, here's what I'm not saying. I'm not telling you to go out and not be informed. That's not what it is I'm telling you. Go out and be informed, but you keep watching the news and they just keep talking about all of the deaths, and they keep talking about all of the shootings, all of the killings, all of the robbings, everything that's happening that's negative. And I'm saying you got to turn that stuff off, because you take that stuff and you begin to internalize it and say, and now the stuff that was, again, that was external, you've now taken that and you put that on the inside, and you wonder why things are not going well, because you have those negative thoughts and feelings. You have opened the door and said, negativity, here I am. Come on and bring all of that stuff here. And no. So do you realize, I read a stat and I heard this from a friend of mine, 85% of the thoughts that we have are negative thoughts. Now, this is before COVID-19 happened, right? And I think this was from some scientists that did this study. This is before every single thing happened. The average human being, 85% of the thoughts are negative thoughts. And the remaining percentage of that are repeating thoughts. So that means the majority of the average person that's out there is having negative thoughts. This is before this whole entire thing. So can you imagine, this is what I'm telling you, that you got to get your emotions under control. Can you imagine with all the stuff that's happening now, of what people are thinking, of how many people are giving up, or how many people are checking out of life and saying, this is way too hard. So I want you to come back to the other side and say, nope, I'm not going to give in to my thoughts. I am not going to give in. As a matter of fact, if you do give in, right, because we under some strange times, I'm gonna let you give in for 30 seconds where you can have your pity party and feel sad and feel angry and feel hurt. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. And then after that, we're going to spend the next 2 minutes telling ourselves positive thoughts. We're going to tell ourselves for the next 2 minutes how beautiful you are. We're going to tell ourselves for the next few minutes how great life is. We're going to thank God for that we have the activity of our limbs. We're going to say, hey, you know what? I may not be able to control what's going to happen tomorrow, but I can control what's happening now. Thank God for those of us who still have an income, thank God for that. For those of us who haven't been affected, thank God for that. For those of us who say, my business is still generating income, thank God for that. You got to find the small things to be optimistic about, because most people that you're going to run into, what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to project stuff on you. So when people tell me all the time, did you see this stuff on the news that's happening? Absolutely not. I did not. Well, Mike, you're being uninformed. I said, hey, you call me what you want, but all I know is I don't want that stuff to start affecting me. I don't want that stuff to start affecting how it is that I think, because constantly I want to be able to think the right things. So most importantly, I can be able to produce the right thing. So again, I want to think the right thing so that I can produce the right thing. So again, I want you to be over the top optimistic. If you don't know how to be optimistic, right, now would be the perfect time to learn. So again, one of the quickest ways that you could be optimistic during this time is, again, thanking God for all of your blessings that you do have, right? The second thing that you could do is maybe start journaling and writing it down. My wife is a huge person that journals. I don't journal, y'all, but she journals, right? And start journaling all the stuff that's going right in your life, right? All of the stuff that's happening good in your life. Now, here's what I would do. Because sometimes, again, our emotions lie to us because of the surrounding circumstances. Get a piece of paper, line down the middle, right? And I want you to write all the things that's really wrong in your life and all the things that's right. And when I say wrong, I'm talking about stuff that's like could be detrimental. That's about to take you out the game. I promise you, 9 times out of 10, if you look at the stuff that's going right, I promise you that the list will probably be uneven with the stuff that's right when you start counting just the small stuff. And I think we take things for granted, right? Now, here's another thing I need for some of us to do. Although we are social distancing does not mean social isolation. So this does not mean, now, it hurt my heart when they told me that we had to be here for another 30 days. Anybody that knows me, as Dave says, I want to be where the people are. I want to be where the people at. I love people. I want to talk to people. I want to be able to get in front of people. I want to be able to know what people are doing. So to be away from people, from family and friends, and just people in general, it is painstaking. But on the second hand, watch this. We have a great opportunity to still be able to connect through Facebook, Instagram, social media platforms, right? I saw somebody, they had a virtual game night. It was like them and their family. We have the opportunity to now be optimistic, but we're going to have to be creative in how we create this optimism. And we're going to have to be creative with the opportunities that we present. So again, I don't want you to be alone during this process. No, it is not good to be alone during this whole entire process. Do yourself a favor, like reach out to somebody. Now, at the end of the day, this is your life. It is, right? So don't expect anybody to just naturally cheer you up, right? Don't expect anybody naturally to do anything for you that you're not willing to do yourself. So look, cheer your own self up. Go be your own cheerleader. Listen, I give you grace. Mike Nelson gives you grace for you to have a human moment, right? Human moments throughout the day. But overall, we're going to output all of that negativity being optimistic, right? And I just believe today with everything that's happening, we have a great opportunity. And I keep saying this, and I saw this on social media. I don't know where I saw that, right? So I can't give a person credit, but it was a post. And it says that things should never go back to normal because normal wasn't working. Listen, when this whole thing lifts, stop lying to yourself and say, well, things won't go back to normal. No, it's not. The world is going to be forever changed. Just how when September 2011, September 11th happened. I'm sorry, I'm about to say two. I'm getting the year wrong. September 11th happened. Just how the world shifted after that, and it was different. This is going to be the same thing. And I think sometimes where our emotions lie to us because again, we resist change. We think different is a bad thing. Different is only a bad thing if you make it a bad thing. I'm gonna say that again. Different is only a bad thing if in fact that you make it a bad thing. So I'm saying, I want when the world shifts and change and you are presented with these opportunities now to be able to do stuff that you never ever thought about. Like I want you to say, okay, let me go ahead and do that, right? Because before, I think now with everything that's happening, we're starting to see how fragile life is. And we're starting to see how fragile our psyche is. Look, it's been probably, I'm here in PA, so it's probably been, I don't know, since we've been technically to stay in order, it's been maybe 2-3 weeks, right? And people are people going crazy. They like, yo, I can't live without this. I can't live without that. I'm like, bruh, you got a family. Like you have family and friends, you have responsibilities. What, you telling me that you can't live just because sports is canceled for a while? You tell me that you can't live with that? Again, this has exposed all of us. And again, myself included. I'm not sitting here acting like I'm perfect. This has exposed me too during this whole entire process. But the difference between me and most people is I evaluate and said, oh, Mike, this is where you need to make an adjustment. This is where you need to make a shift. This is where you need to think differently about certain issues and areas. This is where you need to be able to learn a new skill that maybe because life was so busy that you lied to yourself and told yourself you ain't had time to learn. Now would be a perfect time for you to be able to pick up and learn these new skills. Now would be a perfect time to be able to do X, Y, Z. So look at this time, y'all, as an opportunity of a lifetime. Again, we will probably never in our lives, unless another thing like this happened, but let's just say it doesn't, right? We will probably never have this much free time. And when I say free time, I'm not talking about that you in the crib, you don't have no responsibilities. I'm not saying that. But by overall, the stretch of the imagination, typically we have a little bit more free time than we've probably ever had. And the question is, if you're not filling that free time with positive things, then guess what? You watch MSNBC, you watching Fox, you watching all kind of crazy stuff, and all you watching is COVID-19, 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 and it's damaging you emotionally. While I appreciate the news and what everybody does on the news, I'm not trying to invite that into my house. I'm not trying to invite that into my spirit. I'm not trying to take that with me, because what happens is I start to project that stuff out. And for those of us who are trying to just say, look, I'm just trying to get life back on track as I know it, getting emotional, right? There's a time and a place for it being emotional. This would not be the time to be too emotional, right? Because decisions still have to be made, right? You still got to choose between, do I do this? Do I do that? And if you get caught up in just your emotions can drive you crazy. Your emotions can drive you to a place that you've never, ever even thought that you possibly can go. Trust me, how do I know? Because I was just there a year and a half ago. Emotions all over the place, right? So again, this is going to be a great opportunity for all of us to grow. Ask yourself during this, like, when was the last time that you read a book? When was the last time you listened to an audio book? When was the last time you took a training course? When was the last time that you just said, man, you know what? I'm going to detach from the world and I'm just going to focus on me and mine. I'm going to focus on specifically what I can do to better myself right now, and I can set myself up for the long game. So again, this is a great opportunity. I'm not sure if we'll ever have this time in history, this free time, to be able to say, how can I take advantage of this? But again, if you're not filling this time properly with the right things, with nutrients to your brain and to your spirit, you're going to come out this and be the same exact person. And I just made up in my mind, I said, I will be damned if I end up being the same person that I was before after this whole thing lifts. Nope, I'm going to be a different person. Now, for some of you, you're going to say, look, Mike, I need you to stop reading so much books during this time. You're just picking up book after book after book, right? And your brain can only hold but so much information. So what I would like for you to do is just to pull back and say, let me maybe focus on one book in particular. It doesn't make a difference for you to read 100 books and you not be able to retain any of the information. Most of us can't. Now, for those of us who are like Dave, who can retain all that, that's cool, right? But most of us probably can't. So I'd rather you just say during this whole entire time, I'm gonna read one book and I'm a master. If it's 10 principles in the book, I'm gonna master those 10 principles, commit them to memory, have them be the fiber of my DNA. And that's how I'm going to continue to make my moves, right? So again, we talked about growing. We're talking about growing. So again, the G is for, we use the acronym GROW. The G is for get up. The R is for readjust. The O is for optimistic or having an opportunity. And let's go to the W. And the W finally is, I just need you to withstand. Like seriously, for real, for real, for real, for real. Like withstand, like A, we're going to get through all this. I don't care where it is, in fact, that you are. I don't care where it is that, you know, that life has taken you. We are going to get through all this. We are going to be able to get through all this. I don't care what the news say. I don't care what 45 says. I don't care what the government says. Look, we're going to be able to get through all this. We're going to be all right. There's a song that says, we going to be all right. We're going to be all right. But you got to withstand and be able to get through these tough times, right? Because I ain't going to lie. Maybe like 2 days ago, I was having a down moment, right? Don't let a moment turn into a second. Don't let that moment turn into a full hour. I was having a down moment and I said to myself, I slapped myself and I said, look, Mike, I said, bruh, wake up. Like you can withstand this. And it took me back to, and for those of us, let's just go back to slavery. And I look back and I said, my ancestors specifically, they were able to be carried over from a boat, right? Thousands of miles, come to a foreign land. They was able to be enslaved, right? They were able to get through that. They were able to have families. They were able to, you know, as for some, have joy. They was able to get through all that. They were able to withstand all that. And look at it, look where it is that we are now. So sometimes, look, for some of us, there's absolutely zero, there's nothing else that you need to do. You're reading, you're studying, you're optimistic. You just got to wait till this thing holds over. You just got to wait until this whole entire thing passes, because again, as I keep saying, it is going to pass. So just think about this for a second. Think about the worst thing that has ever happened to you in life. Like just take maybe, I don't know, 5, 10 seconds. I want you to think about the worst thing that has ever happened to you in life, right? And as you're thinking about that, I'm not trying to have you go back to your trauma, but as you're thinking about that, right? I want you to think about what it is that you felt in that moment. And I ain't talking about something small, I'm talking about something major that you went through. And you know how sometimes it feels like as you're going through something major, it feels like it's never going to end. You just be like, yo, this ain't never, ever, ever going to end. This just going, it feels like I've been here forever. And it might only been 2 weeks, right? But the trauma and the pressure and the anxiety is so heavy that it feels like you've been in it for forever. Now, I want you to think about when you were able to come out of that, right? I want you to think about the lessons that you learned. And B, most importantly, I want you just to think about all the stuff that you did that you were able to get through it and how you were able to withstand all of that. And I'm telling you, if for some of us, look, it's some of us on here, you done been through some worse stuff than what's going on now, right? You done been through, for some of us, maybe being raped, maybe being poor, maybe being thrown out on the street, maybe being lied to, maybe you've been through a traumatic divorce. Maybe your best friend lied to you. It's been all kind of crazy stuff that people have been through. Homelessness. It's been all kind of crazy stuff. And if you were able to get through those traumatic experiences, what do you think is about to happen now? You think that you about to just fold? We have come too far to only come this far. For all of my business owners, we've come too far. All of my entrepreneurs, we've come too far to say, man, you know what? I guess business is too hard now. Let me fold up shop and let me just go ahead and quit. Nope, that's the wrong approach to have. Why? Because the world needs you and your customers need you. And if you fold, there's going to be people who may miss out benefiting from your business because you decided to fold. For those of us who are holding down a 9 to 5 and you're just doing your job thing, nothing wrong with that as well. And I just need you to withstand because you may have your kids that are counting on you, right? As the person that's in the house, the adults, let's just be honest, we are the people who set the tone for everybody else that's in the house. So if they see that you cracking, right? And they see that you seem like you can't hold up, what you think gonna happen? So again, sometimes it ain't always about doing more. Sometimes it's about just withstanding and being able to get through some things. And when you can get through, you're gonna have a powerful story. When you're able to get through, you're gonna have a crazy testimony and say, yo, I remember back in COVID-19, I remember when this thing happened. And while it was an inconvenience, and while it was painful, and while my emotions tried to get me to run amok, here's all of the things that I was able to learn. And here's all the things that I was able to apply. Here's all the ideas that I came up with. Here's what I was able to learn about myself in this whole entire process, whether it was good, whether it was bad, or whether it was ugly. So again, sometimes I think we underestimate the power of just simply being able to get through something. Sometimes we downplay and say, man, you know what? Thank God I've been through all that. Yes. Is it good if you learn a new skill and a new hustle? Yes. But most importantly, like, yo, just focus on you and focus on the stuff that you can control internally. And I promise you, when this whole entire thing lifts, may you be the best version of yourself possible. And watch this, you'll be able to have a stronger story to be able to share, whether it's with your kids, but most importantly, you'll be able to come back and prove to yourself and say, man, you know what? I got through this, I got through that, I got through this, I got through that. Yo, I am unbreakable now. Like COVID-19 should have broken me, but it didn't. So now I'm unbreakable. So now this is a sign for your future that says, yo, it ain't nothing I can't do. It ain't nothing I can't get accomplished. As long as I stick firm and I'm willing to GROW, grow through this whole entire process of COVID-19. Again, get up, get readjusted, be optimistic, and withstand. I am telling you something, not that I've read, but something that I've been experiencing on multiple occasions. Just growing and growing and growing as seasons of life change. I promise you, y'all, we're going to come out this thing and we're going to have a renewed strength. We're going to have a renewed energy. We're going to come out this thing and say, yo, look at all the ideas that I got. We're going to be able to come out this and say, look at all of the great relationships that I built that I wouldn't probably have the opportunity to do because I was doing busy work with life. So again, let's get up, let's get readjusted, let's stay optimistic so we can withstand and we're gonna be unstoppable. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I can't see if there's any comments. I'm trying to get into the group, but I can't see if there's any comments. So if it's not, that's totally cool too. Okay, I see it. I got it. Yep. So thank you guys so much. For those of you who want to continue this conversation or you want to stay connected, you can follow me on Instagram at Mike the Motivator. I'm on Facebook as Mike Nelson. You can shoot me an email, info@MikeNelsonSpeaks.com. I would love to keep the conversation, keep it going. But I want to say thank you guys so much. And shout out to my guy, Dave, for the invitation. It's always a privilege and an honor. And please, y'all, don't worry. We're going to be able to get through this. So thank you much. And let's get it.